Welcome to House Blood, where strangers are family. Every episode contains graphic content, including but not limited to copious amounts of blood, unnecessary cursing, death of all ages, be they infants or immortals, fantasy drug use, nudity, mentions of sex, and sound effects of various qualities. We cannot stress enough that this is mature content with adult themes. You have been warned. I hope you're ready.
Welcome to House Blood. I'm Gray, your DM and host, and we're a D&D 5.5e podcast, currently playing the adventure Hangmen, Worms of Frostheart. This is a story that follows a group of misfits facing sentient calamities threatening to destroy the world, led by a Genasi army called the Rebirth Bastion. Most of the monsters I use are created by Oh Hi Mark. You can support his Patreon, although everything he makes is free. The music in our games is curated by D&D Breakfast Club on YouTube, with credits to each respective artist. I'm joined here today by Mega.
Hello, I am Mega, and I play Eddie, the Otterboy Triton Bastard class. I also play with the emotions and self-esteem of my enemies.
As well as Nita.
Hi there, Nita here. I play Aloya Oblak, the human cleric sorcerer.
As well as Rakuzan.
Howdy y'all, I'm Rakuzan. I play Mahvet Sohafidash, the sap that holds his family together.
And finally, Tyler.
Hello, one and all. I am Tyler, and I play Gumo, the undead bard guy. Yeah.
Now, I need to ask the party. Where did you hide your mess? We're one person down. And I don't want to point fingers here, but I definitely think it was Tyler.
What?
Yeah, he probably didn't wake up from his alarm clock again.
Yeah, I mean, God, that guy sucks, you know?
Look,
Pretty swallows too.
all I'm saying is, last night
he's
I
a
seen
spitter.
that.
He a quitter.
Last night, I noticed that the door was creaked open, and Moomin was mysteriously outside of her chains and bonds, and someone forgot to feed and water her, and I'm asking politely for the person responsible to stand up.
Sorry, I can't stand for this.
Obviously,
Ray,
it's
you
Nina
removed
with
my
her
legs.
mouth full of food.
Yeah,
Fucking
Gray, I
got her.
can't stand up for this. You removed my legs.
What do you want from me? Yeah,
Your
I did
mouth
the
is still
recording
full.
really good. Yeah, now it's full. It doesn't matter. I did my thing.
Mouth full of Moomin.
So you
I
admit
mean, I'm
it.
sure Oluya would love that.
Wild girl. Wild child.
I'm not gonna lie, it would be pretty hot.
Alright. You could tell me what the hell happened in the last session. Because Nita's not going to be up for it. She's chowing down. Although it would be really funny to make her do the fucking recap with their mouth full.
Give me 60-10 and I'll do it. I'll do it and I'll 60-10.
For the bit, yeah, 100%. Mouth full.
Okay, cool. Hold on. I'm getting money? Okay. Okay. So, we're in the tribe, right? We get there. We see the general. Apparently, he's now Chibuike's bitch. Because now he's a prize. Okay? We're like thinking, nope, that's not gonna work out. So, excuse me.
Jesus!
Oh my god.
Fuck's sake, I asked you to eat with your mouth full, not to fucking give us this horrible ASMR. What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
So,
Unless you, the audience, want more of it.
yeah.
In
Then
which
please,
case,
keep going.
send us a $10 dono, and we'll give you more.
And Eddie steps in and he's like, well, did you actually win him honorably? And Shibuki is like, who are you to challenge my ownership of my prize and whatnot? Mahvet's still with his children in the tree lines watching from afar. Eddie proposes that that he does a freedom challenge to release the general, and Shibuike agrees. It's a 1v1 challenge. Either Eddie can do it or Eddie can pick a champion. So they're talking. Luya sized up Chibuike. Apparently he's okay with the bow, but he's really good with his shield and maw. And there was something about his shield that seemed special, but she couldn't pinpoint it, so she asked Seer to check it out. Apparently there's some dope-ass enchantment
Dope-ass enchantment.
that works against spellcasters in Chibuike's favor. And there was some random long-necked person that approached Luya and Seer from behind. Apparently it was Pesk. Pesk is on some mission. That's why he's in the tribe. Seer sees this opportunity, as Pesk is in disguise, to have Pesk tamper with Chibuike's shield. With some convincing, he agrees. He gets a potion. He helps us. But in the future, we're going to have to do some really big favor for him.
Oh, yeah.
Eddie and Chibuike do their thing. Eddie naturally kicks his ass. Chibuike is a little bitch, and he's a sore loser. Trots off. Kamalu then releases the general, and then as a huge dunk on him is like, now I'm gonna need your blessing to marry and bang your daughter some more. And that was it.
You're a piece of shit, and I want to bang your daughter. No truer words have ever been spoken from a suitor. I'm gonna give you 5d10 because you played chicken with me. Played chicken and you ran away. Halfway through that, you weren't eating anymore.
Oh, that's true. I'll take it.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
damn right. You're damn right you are. All right. With that in mind, let's set the scene. Let's get into imagination land. Let's really rock the fuck out here.
Okay, that was one. You stupid.
Damn.
Thank you.
All right. Let's focus on a certain individual that contributed absolutely nothing so far. Mahvet.
What's poppin', yo?
Man, way to call someone out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Damn.
Might as well. It's a good time. As you begin to peek through the trees here, along with your children, watching this entire debacle go down, I want you to make me an insight check as you stare at these creatures. Your children are whispering amongst each other like they have something to say, but your eyes, they're fixated on this community for a moment before you switch back. Did I catch you by surprise?
Yeah. It's not loading for some reason.
Jesus.
Let me retry.
Alright. Well, Lisa, help me fill the dead air here.
Mahvet, who did nothing last session, is peeking through the trees with his family. He sees Eddie win the fight.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't. Well, I think we already went over this, that he doesn't know if Eddie is strong or if this guy's just really weak. And we did a check on that. And I couldn't roll to figure that out.
Well, the consensus was the species is weak. It's inferior.
Doesn't deserve to live. There, now we're up.
There you go. Now roll me that fucking insight check. Okay. That's pretty high. Are you satisfied with that roll? 21?
Not really, but 21's fine.
Okay. With a 21, you begin to notice something that the party doesn't begin to notice. Perhaps it's the excitement of watching Eddie win, or perhaps it's Eddie's chivalrous behavior and the way that he's handling the culture and the honor aspect of this tribal community. But you feel the tension in the air. And perhaps why this is going over most of the other party members' heads is it's not the individual tension, but it's the tension of the community, and you are very familiar with the sensation. You've experienced the sensation before when you've personally lost to Eddie over and over again, when you've gone through that internal turmoil of being defeated by Eddie. And that is your pride being struck out at. That is the feeling to prove yourself, except instead of on an individual level, you see it on a community level. This is an embarrassment to the community, and you fear, I shouldn't say fear, you anticipate that they may do something drastic, prove themselves to reclaim their honor. What kind of thoughts or emotions do you do as you begin to understand this? Again, as your children are approaching you.
I look towards my children and tell them, be prepared to fight your first fight in case these weaklings decide to combat our friends over there for their disgraceful loss.
Again, you're saying this in the thickets right on the outsides of the town's clearing, or the village's clearing. And as you say this, one of the children approach you and say,
Father, I
need to start saying that.
We have noticed something. There is a commotion in the forest. There is a stranger that lurks in here. And the tribesmen, the horsies, they are not happy. They are beginning to hunt.
And at that cue, you see a few centaurs coming out of the woods, approaching the village. Again, what do you do as you're noticing this?
Mahvet, knowing or assuming that he hasn't been spotted yet, wants to wait for the right time to strike in case things go bad, because he knows in the past he has attacked too soon. So he's wants to, but he's holding back, and it's kind of a struggle for him.
Okay, so just lay down your intention here. What you were seeing is two different issues happening simultaneously here. One is something could happen with the community. It could be right now, could be later, it could be a consequence in the far future. You don't know. You don't know how much this teapot is going to steam out for. Towards the issue within the woods, that also seems time sensitive, and you don't know when that's going to be resolved. But again, it's up to you.
Oh,
I
thought the horsies came out of the woods. That was the stranger.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, these centaurs have found something in the woods, and the hunters are not happy. You would presume, if these are hunters that are coming out of the woods, that they might form a party. So what I'm asking...
Mahvet wants to go see...
Yeah, what was your
Mahvet's
intentions?
interested in the stranger. Then,
Yeah.
he
Father would like to see the stranger? Are you sure? They look strong, Father.
Father would like to see this stranger, but let us be quiet.
And their movements sound like branches creaking in the wind. Hear the strain of the wood. Unfortunately, it is not quiet, but it melds with the melody of the forest. You begin to go deeper into the woods, and they lead you with ease. Now, we're going to cut away from you for a second, as you are not going to be... You're not going to be present for what's going to happen next. Eddie, you've proclaimed your opponent's honor during combat, even during their loss. You do not gloat. You do not take advantage of everything given to you with your status. You need to ask the party, as this victory swells within each one of your hearts. What do you guys do as you see Kamlu speaking with Nereus, the sea elf? Again, like a blade hung high in the sky, then swinging down to just cut the bonding. Go one by one around the docket here, Eddie. Like, is there any internal thoughts or actions that you take as the community begins to scatter and surround not only where your duel happened, but towards this prize being unleashed?
Actually, how are they? Has anyone come over to help assist? Trying to remember his name.
Chibuike.
Yeah, Chibuike.
Mm-hmm. No, not a single person has come over to help him. You're not sure whether this is a cultural norm of how to treat the loser, or if they're in such shock that they have forgotten to help him. Do you take on that role?
Yeah, honestly, it's like because he's not just gonna leave him nearly collapsed on the ground. Actually, maybe he is actually. This is actually what Seer is doing during this time. Hey Seer, you mind helping with this?
Gives a nod. Doesn't give any eye contact. Very awkward. See, I'm playing her perfectly. Comes over. What I am going to need, and again, I feel like we dabbled on this a little bit during the end of the combat, but let's just cement it, even if we are retreading, or even if we have come up with a resolution. I'm going to need a persuasion check with advantage. I'm not going to inflict disadvantage, just because of the way you've been holding yourself post-combat here. But Seer does come over. And as she does, there's a bit of hesitation At first, he swings his arm, or perhaps elbow, to give him space between himself and her. He glares at her and looks at you. Does he roll 25? How do you represent that 25? What do you say that really gets him just to accept the aid?
I think maybe the way he would try to put it is a warrior's nothing without the support of their community. When we fall, they lift us up.
You see him biting his lip so hard that blood begins to come out from the corner of his mouth. Seer comes up, again, gives another go, and this time she's not swatted away. Pivoting towards Eluia and Gumo, you begin to look at the community, the crowd. As you begin to look at the community and seeing the hubbub, you see a lot of the attention is going to the prince and Nereus. I need from the two of you perception checks. As again, I'm at least gonna hold that the tension in the air is unbeknownst to all of you, since victory is within your blood, or at least the cultural clash between your own identities and these people doesn't make it distinguishable.
Alrighty.
All right. Hallelujah. You got 22. Oh, jeez.
Oh, natural one.
Yeah, with the natural
I'm
one.
blind. I don't care about people.
Again, I'm just gonna pair you both up together, and that could quite well be the truth. Or maybe your eyes are just glued. Strangely enough, this might be going in the wrong direction, or a different direction that you expected here, Tyler. But perhaps your eyes are actually glued onto Nereus and Kamlu as they're having their interaction. Perhaps you're waiting to see them come at odds, perhaps blade to blade, or even have a conflict. You're anticipating it. Eluia, on the other hand, your eyes aren't at the centerpiece. Your eyes are on the outskirts, and you notice two things. Firstly, you look at the mountains in the distance, and you see something gleaming off the peak. It shines with a blue luster. At first, you think perhaps it may be the minerals on the mountaintop. Maybe even the way that the light dances off of the ice. But no, it's not the case. As you see this light and you squint your eyes and begin to focus, and you see two large spanning wings, and your heart drops as you think you notice a dragon. And not just any dragon, one with blue scales. That's the first thing you notice.
That's enough.
The second thing you notice... Wait. The second thing you notice is you aren't the only person to notice this. You see a decrepit centaur coming out of their hut, looking in the same direction as you. They wear a headdress that is dyed with a giraffe print. And you recognize that it is a wolf in nature, Perhaps it's skin from a direwolf, or it could be from an isanthrope. You do not know. But this person is thin to the point where you see their bones jutting out of their body, like their skin is paper. You see them heavily leaning on a quarterstaff walking stick, and there's a small struggle with their gait as they begin to walk towards the center. Make me, Nita, what would be appropriate for this? This is gonna be probably the weirdest check, but because we don't have like society roles for D&D, I think the best way I can, I think the best way I can represent that is perhaps a history charisma, and it's not because you're charisma based, mind you. More towards that's the way I would represent recognizing hierarchy in the moment through experience rather than through books and reading. Because you don't have a lot. This is the only way I can imagine you knowing about what's around you here. Could have justified wisdom too, but no, charisma works. The most that you can gather is that this person is very important, and because you didn't make this check, unless you have anything to do to this roll, because you didn't make this check, you're not going to be able to give other people in these following scenes a warning about this person, about their position, about their importance. Because you don't know. You just see a sickly, elderly centaur walking towards the chaos. Now, I'm torn whether I want to focus on the sea elf and the centaur, center of all this, or if I should move back to Rakuzan really quick. I'm gonna say, just to keep building it up, because we've been waiting for this particular moment for a while, I'm gonna ignore the centerpiece in the village for now. Mahvet, you begin to travel through the woods. As you're traveling through the woods, through the mist, and you're breathing. Well, are you breathing? Like, are you just you? Because it's up in the air with you sometimes whether you want to breathe or not.
I never breathe unless I want to, which there's no reason for me to just randomly start breathing.
Yeah, I just always like trip on my feet because I want to treat you like a human. As you don't breathe and begin to walk through the woods, and the woods split to make a clearing for you, again bowing to you as if you were the king of this forest. You begin to approach a Noli hill with an obelisk, and you see two figures sitting down, enjoying tea. The first one is quite gargantuan in nature. It is the giant, Bjorn. And your children begin to warn at you.
Careful, father. It is a strong one. It is the one who bends our branches, the one who moves wood.
And again, you could presume that he's gotten through like tight spaces in this wood and used force to get through it. The other figure is a pink-fleshed elf. One that you were familiar with, that you scared the shit out of, Mediterranean. And you see them enjoying tea right next to a black obelisk. They have a makeshift table, and it looks as if they're playing a small game. You, entering the scene, would be at the edge of the forest, towards, again, this second clearing. Do you just watch them? Do you do anything like any actions from your side?
I will whisper to my children, stay put. Father has some business to take care of. Do not react.
We will watch, Father. We will learn, Father. We will grow and become many.
Mahvet will first say in common, because I don't know what other language to use. I approach, do not be scared, as I begin walking out of the woods towards them.
It is okay. I have told them you are coming. You just hear the elf say aloud. We are not scared. But they don't look towards you. It looks like they're fixated on whatever's on their little stone table.
I will approach the table and look at what they're doing.
You see a 5x5 grid with pieces. 4 of these pieces look the same, while the 5th one looks distinct. And you see that the game is set up in a way where these undistinct similar pieces are surrounding the distinct piece. And you see Bjorn just scratching their beard. It looks like I got checkmated again. You've captured my leader. It is okay. It is just beginner's luck. This is the 8th time. I'm beginning to think it's not luck. And you just see the elf begin to laugh and scratch the back of their neck as they look towards you. It is so good to see you, my friend. What brings you here?
I had someone warn me of a stranger in the forest. It seems that it was a stranger to them, but not to I.
Yes, that would appear to be the case. I mean, we are strange people in strange lands. And I am afraid our friend here,
pointing towards the giant, and putting a hand over his mouth, just to say,
he cannot see ghosts. He is blind.
Interesting. Do you see any ghosts nearby?
Why, of course, I can see the centaurs.
Mahvet will take a mental note of that.
well, do you bring up the discrepancy at all?
Well, I guess I see them too.
But of course, you are not a
haven't seen any others.
giant. Of course, you are not blind to them.
So why are giants blind to ghosts? Is it something they're born with, or did something happen to him?
No. It is because they have the blood of titans in them. They cannot see their natural enemy. It is the pattern. These tale
That is
as
a
old as
scary
time.
enemy to have. One that you cannot see.
Nods.
It is like what we seen at the Obelisk. One endling could not see the other. Was very, very bad, but they are still formidable. Even if they could not see their enemy, they still killed them.
That is true. I wonder if the enemies who disappear before your very eye, or if people who disappear before your very eyes are enemies as well.
Did you not think it was strange how centaurs thrive on surface?
And this time you see him pulling up a pipe and pulling out this strange substance to pack it with.
That does make sense. Because it's rather
Yes.
difficult for me to survive up here.
Especially with those gaudy colors, they stick out in the white. No. It is because their tribe has noticed.
And he begins to light. And as he lights this substance within the pipe, you see the smoke beginning to form like small battles and scenes and imagery of days long forgotten. And you just see, beyond his eyes, underneath the sunglasses, a light begin to emit from his eyes. And as he exhales, the light dims.
That is an interesting substance you have there.
Oh, this? Ah, it is history. I smoke it.
What becomes of its ashes?
Oh, it is nothing. You see, when this plant grows, it just records everything around it. It feels for the age. The event is not gone. Well, what is recorded is gone, but the event, it will always be.
And he taps on his head.
Interesting. So, about this game that you two were playing.
It is very
Why?
simple.
Why are you playing?
Oh, to pass the time. I told your friend that you would not be here for a bit, and your friends even later.
Again, smoking.
Or perhaps it will be the centaurs first. I do not know.
Do you not know or do you not want to tell? You seem to have a great grasp on history. I'm wondering about your grasp on future.
It is not my place. I am but a humble scribe. I record. I do not change.
And each time he smokes, just imagine light coming from his eyes as he's seen events play before his vision.
Is it a specific color by any chance?
For now, it just keeps glowing blue, but you haven't seen him smoke anything else. Just glowing blue.
Interesting. So, this other obelisk is one of the others we are to find. Is that correct?
That you need to find. Yes, it is another obelisk. But this time, we have more of an audience.
And again, he begins to smoke. And he will point in the direction of where you came from. The mountaintop, the monument to Boreas, and you still see the light coming out from the obelisk, shooting towards the snowstorm, towards the ice spire. From that same place, that light is going upward like a beam. Imagine a Skyrim touching a standing stone, but the effect is constant. It's a steady stream directly into the air.
We have started the beacons. There are many curious on what will happen next. I know I am.
I'm as well. Let's see about activating this second beacon. And I will approach it, but Mahvet wants to make a cautious, or make sure he's paying attention to sounds in the woods of horse hoofs in particular.
Okay. What level spell slot do you expend?
I have 1/3 level left. So I will
Like you made
expend
a dramatic change with the last one.
What's Mahvet without being dramatic?
Okay. You expend a
I
third
will
level spell
expend
slot.
I'll expend my last 3rd level spell slot.
As you do so, the same thing happens again. The hieroglyphics begin to dance on the obelisk. White pictures begin to writhe and move, and the black stone takes on a gleam of blue before again another beam goes off directly into the sky, and another beam shoots off towards the snowstorm. At this point, you see that the snowstorm is no longer split. It just dissipates, and it looks like with spending 2 3rd-level spell slots that it has made this effect disappear instead of having to activate all 3. And you wonder what would happen under these circumstances. The 3rd one was activated. What would it do? That's neither here nor there, as you begin to look.
The other obelisk is over there.
There are 2 more. There are 4 in total. I directed you to 3. The 4th is within the ice spire. The 3rd one, towards the fort, in the distance, is hidden somewhere inside of that giant's home, towards the ice spire itself. Because you have cleared the storm, you see thousands, and I'm not exaggerating here, thousands of statues littering around the ice spire, almost as if in prayer. Mahvet, make me a perception check with disadvantage. The DC is high. Is there anything you can do to that roll?
I do not believe so. I'm going to check. Double. No.
All right. As you look towards the spire, something's just bothering you, but you can't quite see it. The blue light is sheaming and making the spire glow. So perhaps it's just hard to see what you're trying to see here. It's like looking at the sun for a couple seconds. It burns into your vision. And again, perhaps, and I'm not going to allow for a check here to spell things out, but that conversation with the bird that you guys had earlier just bothers you. There's just something weird that bird said about the tower. Can't really put your finger on it. What word did they use to describe this tower? Let's focus on the other group as your eyes dance from the spire back to the obelisk, so I don't have to describe this damn thing twice. Back towards the other group within the village. Eddie, at this point, before we focus on the 2 central figures, you begin to aid Kamlu. About 5-10 minutes pass. Perhaps you leave
not
his
Kamlu,
presence. Yeah, not Kamlu. We're saying like we'll say in the general area minutes have passed. As like Nereus has been unbound and there's been a silence since the declaration. Just to add on to the time here that you're not missing anything. The hunters that Recusant saw begin to approach you, Eddie. And as they come closer and closer, you see that their gaze isn't at you, it's at the figure being mended. And you see them begin to speak in a foreign tongue as they trill their tongues and do clicks. You see that Chibuike, and I'm going to say this to represent his honor, he doesn't shove Seer, but he begins to withdraw like whatever limb that she's working on. Perhaps we'll say the arm for now. Maybe it's the arm that the shield fell off from. And he begins to stand with a slight wobble, but he looks raring to go as he goes for the shield. Says nothing to Eddie, says nothing to Seer, but exhales and kicks the ground a little bit and begins to walk away from you as him and a handful of hunters begin to form a group and begin to talk amongst each other. If you linger on them, well, I should say there's two events then, like at this point. A party is beginning to form, and then you have the events with Camelou and Nereus. I need to ask you, Eddie, because present to this, and your friends are distracted with something else. Do you focus on this hunter's party, or do you move away, give them privacy, and start joining the circle around the main event here?
That is honestly a bit tough.
Would you like to think that over as I go to the other two?
Yeah.
Okay. Gumo, Aluya, just make sure you're both present.
Yep.
Aluya, is there anything that you say before I start initiating the scene here?
I'm gonna notice that, Eddie's busy, Sierra's busy, Mahvet's not here, so the only one she has to kind of talk to is Gumo.
Yeah, all my friends are gone, and I gotta talk to this fucking weirdo.
I'm stuck with the asshole who outed me.
So, Gumo, I don't know if you've noticed, or maybe I'm going crazy, I don't know. Two things. I thought I saw a dragon. Yes, a dragon. It's important because you weren't here for that event, but, there is a dragon coming for us. But we don't know when. But I think I saw it. Also, you see that person over there? That old-looking thin one, I don't
His
know.
eyes
There's something
track over.
something about them. I don't know. Like the vibe from them. They're important, but I don't know why. And something in me says it could be bad, but I don't know. But also, there's a dragon that I think I saw on that mountaintop.
So, and I'm not doing this on purpose, but just so it happens, we're just having a lot of choices here. And just to keep the tension, and things can expire moment to moment here, Tyler, you can either investigate the centaur coming towards the group, or maybe the hallucination that Nita is experiencing as a player of a dragon in the distance. Which one would you like to focus on?
Given that a centaur's a centaur, and Gumo firmly believes that that is probably something that he could deal with by killing it, he's going to look for the one thing that he doesn't believe that he could, so he's going to try and investigate the dragon.
Okay. I will allow one more perception check. This one will just be straight.
Alright. Hey. Thank goodness I still have those hero points left over. And hold on, before that's finished, I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to spend a knowledge from a past life to roll a d6 and add it. And then I'm going to spend one of my hero points from way, way, way back now that I have noted down. So I have 4 left. And I'm going to spend one of those to add another d6.
Okay.
So that would be 29, I believe, or something close to that. Let's see, 17 plus 4, that'd be 21.
26
plus
would be
5,
closer.
26, yes. Off by 3.
Yep. You see a gleam of blue. Could be something, or it might just be her overreacting. I mean, it's a scaled dragon. Scaled dragons have better things to do. They're walking storms. You feel them before you see them. Then as you're thinking about it, you begin to attempt to breathe. Your nostrils begin to flare. And yeah, smells like a storm. In winter? Or just even a tundra here. That's not right. Look at the sky and you do see like a cloud or two. You see the crackling lightning. Maybe even the faint sound of thunder, just to show you how distant it is. You can just barely hear the thunder, and it's very, very mute. It's very distant. It's very quiet. But that's not the thing that catches your attention the most. That's what you get with a 20. What you get with the 25 is your eyes aren't on the peak with the blue gleam. Your eyes are on the peak with the red gleam. And your heart begins to drop. If that's a dragon, what the fuck is that?
What?
No. Must be mistaken. There's no way. 2 dragons in one spot? No. There'd be a fight. Your companions have even talked about a fight, although a scale dragon versus a scaleless. They fight. Territory is precious. Battles commence. There is tradition to uphold. But you even start to feel your heart involuntarily begin to beat. Bum. In seconds. Bum.
That shouldn't be moving.
That's what you call dragon fear. That takes time. Go ahead. You can at least convey that. I will say it takes time for all this to process, for all this to be noticed.
I will say for probably the entire time that you have known Guma, which hasn't been for very long, but he has been unemotive at best, pretty much a corpse at worst. He doesn't really react to things much beyond curiosity, more akin to a child, or on an odd occasion, like something of a madman. For the first time ever, you have seen something akin to fear begin to dawn on his expression. And he turns to you, and he kind of like rolls his tongue across his teeth, his eyes kind of twitch from side to side, and he, almost like on reflex, he snaps his jaw out of place and then snaps it back into place. I think there's 2 dragons. Also, why are you being chased by 2 dragons?
Why? Wait, what do you mean 2 dragons? I showed you the general area of the 1 dragon. Why are you saying 2?
He points to both of them.
Yeah, and it's not like they're side by side. Like you're fixated on this mountain peak in the distance. Let's just use general cardinal directions here. I might switch as my memory fades, but we'll say for now in this village at this time, the one that you're looking at is in the northwest peak. The one he's talking about is in the far east. It's a miracle that
I
you
imagine
can
his
even see
arm
it.
probably.
Yeah,
Imagine his arm probably pulls itself out of socket to point.
Yeah, and the blue one, you can make out even just a subtle form of it, just with how far away it is. The only reason you could tell it was a dragon was because it just let its wings fully expand. With the one Gumo's talking about, you're just inferring that there is a red gleam on a white peak. If that's a dragon, that could potentially be another one, or again, your imaginations could be faulty. I'm filling in the gaps for you. It could be something else.
I need to
Kind
look
of
at my
taking that
spells.
in, no offense to you, Gumo, she pretty much shoulder checks you to like, move, bitch, get out the way, and she runs over to Eddie and Seer. Eddie, Seer, I need you to pay attention to me right now.
Okay, hang on.
Focus up.
Before we get to that, Mega, you've had time to decide. We'll say this is the time that they've been investigating. And Eddie, I'll let you know the player. Information is being missed with their hyper focus with the central event. Things are they're going to start to play out. Now you have a more firm decision without a safety net here, where you must choose one or the other, or else things will begin to happen. So before Aluya approaches you and conveys what she's learned, what does Eddie do in this situation?
Honestly, after thinking it over, it's like, oh, while whatever they are about to do with that group of them, Eddie feels like he might need to provide some social lubricant to help deal with whatever situation might be happening at the center.
Okay. I like that.
So I think he would need to glide over there just to make sure that things don't erupt into chaos.
Now here's the thing. You have sparked shock and awe with the entire community, but to tell you how much of a shock this event was, it's almost as if your deeds were temporarily forgotten. No one notices you. Even if you come close, there's like walls of people encircling this event. You'd have to squeeze through or like fly over. With ease, it is a way you could do it. You can flavor it however you want, but you have to get through the crowd just to even see like what is going on.
It's like Eddie will glide over on his smoke trail. It's like that is to say, he still has his boots on, so
yeah,
may as well use them.
Glide over, and you walk in to like a shout. You son of a bitch! And you see Nereus begin to stand. How dare you? After all you have done, after everything that's been done, you dare ask for the thing thy prize above all else. You have the audacity to ask for her. And you just see... You see Kamlu cross his arms. No weapon is drawn, like even the dagger is stowed away. Crosses his arms. Does not waver. I have asked for your blessing, not your permission. It will happen. It will happen? You will steal my daughter away from me? No. She will come willingly. And what makes you say that? Because we are in love.
Because she loves him.
Yeah. I imagine both at the same time here, and there is just pure shock. And because you chimed in, I need a persuasion check. This will be straight. Because this is coming from you, but there's a state of disbelief that he cannot fathom what he is hearing. This is going to be a high roll, considering the cultural clash here. No.
Can't do anything about it.
It's fine. I'm just going to say for now, it is shock and disbelief. This can be resolved later, but for now, he can't even believe you, Eddie. He can't believe the words from this sickening centaur, and he can't believe the words coming out of your mouth. You'll even say to both of you, she is young. She is young, and that is not true. Even if she did know what love was, it would not blossom between the two of you. You lied to me. You lie to my face. I do not lie. Do not lie. And you just see his teeth begin to grit, his hoof is beginning to dig into the ground. Eddie, you can see that a faux pas is made. He's questioning the honor of somebody's words and their integrity. And you can feel the tension beginning to rise at that word. You're lying to me. We're gonna turn this into a little bit of a mini game. We're not gonna do fucking skill challenge for this, but I'm going to keep track of like the ups and downs here. And I'm going to call this tracker the boiling point. And I'm going to add 1 point to it, and I'm going to say up to perhaps 3. 3 points and something is going to happen. Eddie, as you feel the tension begin to rise, is there anything that you add to this conversation?
I think Eddie would at least start with, so what reason do you think he has to lie? Don't you think it would be just as awful for his people to fall for someone that is supposedly an enemy of their tribe?
It is to hurt me, Mr. Hayes. It is to take away what little I had. I lost her.
And again, you don't even know if he's talking about his daughter or something else.
I will not lose anymore. I do not know what tricks they are playing, but I know a trick is at play.
So then what trick would she have played on me as we were traveling together and she confessed her feelings?
I might do this again. This is going to be a weird one. I don't believe it's going to be the weight of your words. I actually want you to recall a check to recall verbatim what she said. Like, how she phrased it, what she said to make the impact sting. So I'm going to call for a history check. I could maybe be gambled into switching it to charisma again, but I think intelligence is appropriate here as you're just recalling an event that happened, I believe, around a week ago, maybe a half a week. As you are recalling that information, I'm going to start saying times are starting to align here. Rikuzen is in the future still, but Aluya, at this point, you and Gumo have spoken. Are you satisfied with the 14? There you go.
I can't add any more to it.
Okay. Just
I
want to
wish
make
I
sure.
could help.
Well,
That said, it was only a week and a half ago. I don't
yeah,
think
I was
checks are
gonna say
actually that
that the
high.
DC is not high with this check. But I at least want to hear anything that's being added before I speak further here. Tyler, if you do have a bardic inspiration, I would allow you to add at this point. Like I was saying, times are beginning to align here, and you're noticing that Eddie is thinking about something, although a little unorthodox. I've been switching between everybody, and people have been being respectful. I'm going to give you opportunities here. What is it, D8?
You know what? Let's just post the ability here.
As you're doing that, I'm going to say Aluya and Gumo and To
D10
are being brought to Eddie. Well, I was going to ask Eddie if you wanted to spend it on this. Would you like to spend
No,
this
that was
detail?
me checking my die.
Yeah, I know.
That's not the roll.
I know.
Sorry.
I think I'm honestly confident for the time being with the 14. I might need the D10 later.
Awesome, I like that. Well, That good long play there, because you did pass. I was just trying to make you guys use resources here. Aluya, Gumo, you begin to break through the crowd, and you see that Eddie is in the middle of a pretty serious conversation, and you feel the tension rising in the air. I can't remember verbatim exactly how she phrased it, but I'm gonna say Eddie says it word for word. Maybe messing up a word or two, but it's different enough where the father's eyes begin to rise. And I'm going to say, I'm going to add a point to what I'm calling Father's Blessing. I will not tell you how high you need to reach, but the boiling point is
I
not
almost want to
rising.
imagine for a moment it's like maybe it's just like similar to like in Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah,
Just like
fuck yeah.
she zinged. Just like
Yep.
I taught her. Her mother taught her that word.
Hell yeah. I like that. But you see that his eyes are turning red, and you see that he's holding back tears. Like perhaps you're chipping away at that denial, but he is still in that stage of denial. But you really put a chink in that armor. Aluya, Gumo, you are approaching Eddie. Gumo, how's this bardic inspiration look? Like, how are you gifting this to Eddie?
I imagine kind of as they're coming up, Gumo appears to be in somewhat of a panic at the dragons. But as he's kind of going along, as he seems to be kind of receding mentally, his body starts to act kind of on instinct as to whenever he's kind of in a panic or in a seriously deadly situation. And he just kind of, his body starts to naturally flow and move in a way that's really only ever been seen in combat. He starts to almost unintentionally dance with the hilt of his sword, kind of like as he's pushing his way through, he kind of like shoves them with the hilt in a way that seems almost reminiscent of a strike with a sword. And then by the time that he's reached Eddie, he seems to be in almost a trance with how fast and how precise and rhythmic he's moving. And I imagine that probably strikes Eddie's mind.
Yeah, it's the grace of your body that gives that inspiration. I got you. Before we continue, before I let you both loose here, since both of you made perception checks, I'm gonna let that roll over for this. You hear the sounds of multiple hoof falls, I should say, as you see a group of gathered hunters beginning to go to the woods. You probably see about 10 in total begin to leave, including Shibuike. That said, that event happened, they did something, and they're doing something else now that is evolving in the background. Aluya, Gumo, what do you say as you approach Eddie?
I checked Gumo to get past them, to go to them.
Check.
I mean, he followed along right after, but yeah, for a second there, you probably like knocked his arm off, and he had to put it back on.
Sir, Eddie, no, where are they going? That we need them. Bring them back, Eddie, sir. Oh, hello, General Kamalu. Listen, there is an issue. Two
Dragon.
issues. Yeah. Yes, dragon, you son of a bitch. I was going to say that. Look at the mountain. They're there.
They both have
Blue
scales.
one there, red one there.
Yes, they do.
And that's not our immediate concern. If one didn't have scales, that would be a problem.
Okay. But why are they going then? Are they going to get the dragons?
Are you sure it's specifically in response to the dragons?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. But that's like a huge deal. 2 dragons. If that's not the big deal, where are they going then?
Be more important than dragons.
Well, I would say if like the clan's warriors are moving out, it's like at the very least they're responding to something they see as a threat to the village.
Do you think that if we help them, that if the dragons do something, they could, assist us?
I mean, honestly, I'm not sure if they recognize it's two dragons fighting with each other. I think I would hope that they would know not to get in the middle of that conflict.
I suppose. Well, things feel really bad right now. Like something is going to happen.
Something else is going to happen here if we don't take care of it immediately. Which, speaking of which... Unless the conversation has been going on while I don't know if she's been whispering or saying this out loud.
There's no whispering. It's for all to hear and panic over.
Yes.
And I don't know if Gray's muted.
Just give me one moment.
Well, Eddie, what would you like us to do? You seem to be the level-headed decision maker most of the time.
Sorry. Nieces were coming over and I was speaking with her. Give me a quick highlight, quick recap. Like, the conversation has not progressed further for what's been happening. Well, nothing monumental to progress it further. Perhaps small words during your whispers.
Basically, they told him that there were two dragons. Eddie asked if one of them was scaleless. They said no. It's like, so at least in Eddie's mind, they aren't an immediate concern. Or at least not his current immediate concern.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because that would be the big one. Just like, oh, if the scaleless one is here, we actually have to move.
There's two things we have to move for. One that looks like a ghost and one that doesn't have scales. But yes, if you're like tuning back in, like after you guys have gone back and forth, at this point, Gumo, Eddie, and Aluya, all three of you can influence like what is going on now. And again, he is no longer considered one of the tribesmen's prizes. That doesn't mean that he's safe either. The only thing that is upholding his safety is your guys' presence at the moment, as well as recently being released and a change of status, but that can quickly change once more into combat. So, you, I believe the last thing that Mega did was reciting something specific his daughter said, and Nereus is still in a state of disbelief. Yeah, this is a fucked up direction to take it. I like it.
Like in fact,
what have you... Okay, go ahead.
It's like, in fact, she, in addition to, as we told you before, about agonizing over her current appearance, she also agonized over being able to tell you because she knew how you would react.
Before I go into what he'll say next, I'm trying to remember. Is this the first time her appearance was addressed, or was that brought up once more?
No, it was brought up before. Like, we literally minor illusioned
yes.
to give an idea of what she would look like.
Yeah, I just wanted to maintain whatever consistency that we set out. Like that was just before like all hell broke loose. Yeah, the alchemy shop and the raid. Yeah. With that said, the agonizing appearance, he would look towards Camlo, and even grasping at straws here. You can see that Mega, he's working through the stages of grief, and you know the next one he's moving on to, as he says,
What did you do to her? Did you touch her? Don't tell me you touched her! I bet you're the one that made her look like that, didn't you? You twisted her appearance! You did it!
And you just see Camlu starting to dig the ground, and Nereus reaching for, like, by instinct, where his sword would be on his body, but nothing is there. Camlu again shakes his head, gives a harumph.
I did no such thing. I wouldn't do a thing.
And at this point, I need the party to aid in here to dissuade this way of thinking here.
You'll remember, sir, that your daughter had been captured as a political piece by a completely different group, and she wound up transformed by them.
He's huffing and puffing, trying to grasp at straws here. I'm going to say with this, because you are referencing a specific event here, give me a persuasion with advantage. Yep, go ahead. You can give the finishing thought.
I mean, it's like, in fact, that was the entire reason why she was replaced the way that she was in your castle by that sea witch. So, yeah, persuasion.
Yep.
You said.
Yep, and we're going with degrees of success here. So if you score really high, we'll give you multiple points. Score too low, I'll give it multiple points. We could have like a boiling point rate now if you roll low enough.
Ooh.
Thank God you rolled with advantage. I was looking at that 3. All right. Just for the audience, 31. Yes, that goes without saying. You definitely exceed the DC I had by 5. And just to keep things documented, boiling point is at 1. The blessing is at 3. You still don't feel like this is over, but you feel like you're just on the cusp of convincing him, calming him down. But begins to simmer. His eyes are having a 1,000-yard stare. And you just see like gloom and doom like cloud over him. And he says something. No, I don't believe anyone's passive is low enough to hear it, but he will repeat himself again. Again and again. He'll get louder. It's probably the 3rd time he repeats it where you hear, "It's not possible. Just can't be. There is no way for this." And he sneers at saying it. This love grow.
So, why is it not possible, sir?
Around you. And as you look around, you see that the other centaurs have similar expressions that Nereus is going through. It seems like the only person who is accepting of this idea is the person proposing it. You see that they're treading on a topic that is anathema to both cultures. And as he tells you to look around, if not for their people, it is not possible for our people. There has been too much blood spilt. There is too much pain. We can say all the words in the world to smooth things over, to create change, to take that step forward, but...
Did you know that your city is taking those steps in your
What?
absence?
That is not possible. The state of the council? The people? No.
The council has been disbanded and re-elected. The city is restructuring. They see a future where people of different species, of different walks of life, can live together despite their ruined histories. It is not that they have forgotten what has happened, but if things continue the way that they are now, all that can lead to is mutual destruction. You are right. It is not possible to unspill blood. It is not possible to just forget what happened. But if you can't find a way to move forward, then eventually you will all face ruin against things far more powerful and far more dangerous.
All right. Is because what you were referencing, let me break this down step by step, is because of how you structured that argument that I'm even allowing a persuasion check. But with how crazy the idea is, again, with all the missing information, that he wasn't there to experience it with all of you, and him living with this culture, this unchanging culture, mind you, for hundreds of years, and all of it changing so fast. At this moment is going to be a persuasion with disadvantage, and this is where I'm going to lean into Eddie needing support from his companions to straighten the roll. Keep in mind, to the other party members, if Mega rolls really poor, things can go down quick. This is probably the most important roll in this entire conversation. I need to hear from the others. What do you say? What do you do?
What Eddie is saying is true. I know it might be hard because, oh golly, have we met a bunch of your people and they were so closed-minded. A lot went down, and a lot will be going down, but I think it will be for the better. Clearly there were a lot of issues. The people themselves spoke for this. Everyone is willing to change.
Do you want me to tell you what is going on in this city? What your people hear, what they see, what they speak? I can relay it to you. And Gray? If he accepts, I'd like to use my Blessed Revenant feature.
Alright, and how do you do so?
Since my Blessed Revenant feature allows me to see through the senses of one that I have reincarnated, I would like to go through the senses, perceive the senses of the child that I revived, and perceive what they are seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, saying, and then relay it.
Perhaps you caught him at a opportune time. We see a moment of lunch as the community is working together to rebuild what is lost. And the children have been occupied. And you see that this is happening within, near the the dredges.
Mm-hmm.
You catch them near the dredges, and while near the dredges, you see like a community of children of different races. Triton, Goliath. You see the child themselves. I believe they also got... I can't remember if they reincarnated into an ASMR or a Goliath as one of the two races, but
I think it was their parents were both Azamar, they were Goliath.
I just couldn't remember the order. But you were seeing through the eyes of a child who is unnaturally tall, and all these children are just finished playing a game, and they're being sat down for supper. And unlike the usual bottom level of food, these children are being fed well regardless of race, and they are supping at the same table. You don't feel the hatred, the segregation. You feel the whimsical nature of children without hate. And not a lot is spoken. You just see them eating together.
Well, do you really think your city would be so unaccepting with sites like that?
Mm-hmm. And how do you how do you share what you've seen? Do you have minor illusion to like give a visual? Are you speaking as you feel it? Like
speaking as I feel it. I unfortunately don't, unless I want to hit him with a mental prison.
Before I see actually how you influence it, Aluya, no need for a check on your end. I will say that Mega is being aided to straighten the roll. Guma, we're going to see whether the DC increases or decreases. I need a persuasion. Persuasion check.
Alright, just straight?
Yes, I'm going to just have it be straight.
Alright.
So this is influencing Eddie's DC. Okay.
Thank goodness for expertise.
Whatever the
31.
DC was, it has been reduced by 5. Eddie, please make me a straight persuasion roll and add whatever you want to add to it before or after.
He has his bardic inspiration as well.
Yep.
I don't think I need it.
Okay.
Yeah. Your persuasion's
Smashed
pretty freaking good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Grace just like, oh, by the way, the DC was a 35.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was just about to say,
No.
Eddie, if it wasn't for Tyler and you cemented that roll, things would have played out very differently because the original DC was 30, reduced to 25. I am not kidding when I say it is a ridiculously high roll, and what you are saying is insane. Probably one of the highest DCs I've set for a single roll. You convince them. What's the flourish, Eddie, as this feels like it is dying. The boiling point is dead.
It's like, your daughter can see a future where she can be happy with someone who looks and is completely different from her. And if you loved her, you would let her live that future herself.
As you say those words, you see him slowly sitting onto the ground. Not kneeling as he once did before, but foot and thigh. You see him sit down, close his eyes, and begin to breathe. His composure is returning. The Nereus you've talked to before, through thick and thin, is resurfacing. The bewildered father is dying in the background. And I want to imagine the camera zooms up to his face as he breathes deeply and exhales. And then we switch off to see what the woodman's doing. Mahvet.
Hello.
You activate this obelisk. And as you begin to read at the hieroglyphs, as you begin to look into what history it will bestow onto, like you've requested, you hear footfall in the distance. Your passive is high enough to hear, although they are not hiding themselves. What does Mahvet do as you hear thousands of your children speaking to, well, not thousands, but the handful of children that you've had speaking to you, connecting to you, warning you that they are coming? It's very creepy.
They're coming. They're coming. They're coming, Father.
Schizophrenia in your head.
I will tell them to hide. Can I speak back to them if they're able to speak in my head?
Yeah, sure. I'll allow it. It's fine. I let fucking Eddie do it all the time. No. They have a connection to you. They are a part of you. They are a part of the many.
Children, lay low and act inanimate like the trees you are, and let your father handle this.
And they are indistinguishable from the forest itself. Perhaps like a hunter or two may raise an eyebrow, not recognizing the placement of a tree, but quickly shakes a head and keeps moving forward. Do you do anything to hide yourself as the strange pink-skinned elf is drinking tea, looking at the giant?
I will tell Mr. Funny Man that the enemies of his friend, who he's playing a game with, are coming.
Ah, that was unfortunate. I was hoping to get one more game in.
And he begins to huff at his pipe.
It was fun.
Before you go, do you happen to have any glitter or paint on you?
Oh, you misunderstand. I would not miss this for the world. I am not leaving.
Our giant friend, on the other hand, probably should.
But I won't tell him.
As you see flashes,
No,
this
you should
time
not
of
run
red.
from your enemies.
This time you see flashes of red underneath his eyes, almost like crimson being splattered onto the ground.
But still, my friend, as a scribe, you must have ink or paint at least.
Okay, because I'm getting lost here. Are you talking physically, or are you talking in a metaphorical sense, or
No, like completely physically, because I
Okay.
want to use the ink and stuff to potentially help the giant see his enemies.
Holds out a hand, and you see manifesting in the hand in a poof of glitter is an inkwell and a quill. It's a blue quill, by the way.
Would you be upset if I were to use this to help our friend here?
No, not at all. Do what you want. I'm excited to see what you do.
Awesome. Then we'll wait for the cavalry to arrive.
Oh, we wait for the cavalry. All right. I cannot wait.
And again, he smokes again, again, repacking it, and it's just more of these red flashes.
And I'll turn to Bjorn and tell him, invisible enemies that wish to kill you are on their way. Are you strong and wish to stay? Or are you weak and wish to flee?
Am I strong? Ha 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 ha! I am very strong. But invisible, you say? I do not fight ghosts.
Because you are scared or because you don't believe they exist?
No, because it is hard to punch.
I will attempt to make it easy for you to punch.
Hmm.
As I hold out the ink bottle, and I have an extra in my inventory,
Okay.
I shall try to ink your enemies on where you should strike. But if you see me wrestling with a ghost, strike where I am not, and perhaps where I am holding. Basically, if I grapple them, I want him to punch where I'm grappling.
Mega, reading messages quick. Towards you, Mahvet. Let's switch the scene here really quick. Start off with that at least. I have something for this, and it's a shame just not to show it, as this is the area that you find yourself in. You're outside the clearing. There is a giant obelisk on a Noli hill, and in the distance there are mountains. As you stand your ground, you see the first of these centaurs begin to approach. And it's Chibuike, followed by dozens, or less than a dozen different silhouettes that you see through the tree lines. You hear the creaking of taut strings. It's almost like they're playing a malicious instrument from the woods, as you hear 9 of them begin to melodiously play. As Chibuike stands out, you hear him yelling in a foreign tongue to you. You do not recognize the language, as it is followed by trill and clicks. And it sounds very, very angry. Tukata! Tukataka! Tuka! And as he's yelling at you, there's a moment for a response. What do you say?
I will try to repeat back to him what he said. Give me a performance
verbatim?
roll.
Like, are you saying you were mimicking what they're saying?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I know what skill I want you to roll here. I'm trying to even decide if I want you to roll here. I'm gonna say no, going for my gut. So what I'm gonna say here is make me a performance with intelligence. I'm gonna hold something in my back pocket for maybe a little bit longer here. Okay. Let's take a moment. Let's translate what's being said here. And Mahvet, as I say what they're saying, I want you to think of the most offensive and threatening way to repeat what was said. As Chibuike says, Halt! Why are you on our sacred grounds? Trespassing is an affront dealt with in death. What do you say?
Look, whores have arrived to the sexy grounds. Arriving here creates apples.
Give yourself inspiration. That's really fucking good. I love that a lot.
Arriving here creates apples.
Honestly, that was so good. I think you bought yourself a little bit of time here as they're speaking to one another. And
They're just so stunned
yeah,
by how
there's
well I grasp the language, but make no sense.
there's a crow on a branch, and you just hear it going, caw, caw. And this is literally the only thing that you hear echoing through the the plateau and through the hills. Let's give you the same treatment that I gave Mega here, because I don't mind a combat, but we're not doing back to back here right off the bat. I'm going to say combat has not fully initiated, but you said the wrong thing as the first volley of arrows come to you. Mahvet, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. And I'll make one for your giant friend.
Ooh, I do have something special for this.
Alright.
Not yet. One more level.
I'm going to give you the same thing. And because you didn't add anything to that roll, you failed by 5 or more from the DC I had in mind. You've accrued 2 execution points. The third will initiate combat.
Okay, I like that.
Yep. The good side of things is what I'm going to call stalemate. Meaning, they will not attack you, but they will not leave. Alright. You like a 19?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, volley of arrows comes down. Do you have a feature that grants you any boon for having damage?
I can deflect attacks. If I can reduce
Attack
the
roll.
damage. Just link it. Deflect
Yeah, because I need to
attacks.
know, because this is going to be you're dealing with the saving throw here. Although typically, yes, you would be right under normal circumstances. You would be able to use this, but this is a volley of arrows that are coming towards you.
No, doesn't seem so.
Okay. Understood. You're going to take 98 damage, reduced in half. This is piercing. Alright. That is reduced to 12. Please apply a 12 piercing onto your sheet as a few thunk into your trunk, and you hear like a collective murmur in your head of your children getting worried about you.
Father, are you alright, Father? Don't let them hurt you. Kill them. They're all inferior.
And the one voice that proposed that idea is being echoed.
Kill them, kill them, kill them, Father.
What do you
Not
do?
going to respond to them yet, but Mahvet, I'm assuming a couple arrows hit. So I will take out one of the arrows
Yep.
from my chest, pull it out, admire it, and then I'll look at the people who shot it with a smile as I gently put it down and just wait.
Seeing that you don't immediately retaliate, you hear again a guttural, like a tongue, begin to trill and yell at you. Rakota! Tukataka! What do you say?
I will look to the elf and see if he understands.
You see him smoking, and make me an insight check. You see that he's following along with the conversation.
I don't seem to speak their tongue, and they seem rather mad, as you can see from... I'll pull out another arrow. There are toothpicks that are hitting me. Do you happen to know what they're saying?
That is very unfortunate, my friend. It is too bad you do not speak their tongue. You see him smoking. And again, more flashes of red underneath the glasses. Bjorn, at this point, is confused why his arms and shoulders are beginning to bleed.
Bjorn, our enemies have arrived, but we must wait till they wish to engage. We cannot fight a far battle.
I have not heard of ghosts shooting real arrows.
It is a sad, sad reality of our world. You are not able to see them because of your blood, but I have an idea.
Keep in mind, keep it at disadvantage, because he's hearing voices, he's not seeing anything going along, he has nothing to dodge, because he doesn't see the actions leading up to it. He takes the full damage.
Mahvet will raise up his hand in like a pausing motion, like a timeout.
Yep, timeout. That wasn't cool. Timeout.
As he slowly reaches into his back and grabs out a piece of parchment, calligrapher supplies, and his ink, one of his ink bottles, in order to write a message.
Okay. Tell me what you intend to write, Mahvet.
Gibberish.
Okay. Mega. What does the text look like?
It's like, so he's just writing gibberish on a letter.
Well, realistically, I don't know the whole alphabet yet, even in common, so it's going to come out in gibberish.
Well, the
But
question
it's
is
not-
it purposeful gibberish, or are you actually intending to write a message?
I'm going to attempt to write, must we fight here and without any honor?
I almost want to feel like it functions like autocorrect. He writes something and then it actually fixes itself. But whether it fixes itself to what he actually wants to say is dependent on how close it was to the actual word he's trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mega, we are going to act under the assumption at this moment, or at least in Mahvet's point of view. You Mahvet, you tried to write something, and the quill did something weird. You can go over the flavor in a little bit here, Mega, but you feel like something odd just happened.
No. I have my own calligrapher supplies. So fuck his quill.
Yeah, fuck his quill.
See, I had them in my stash. I just asked him for ink, not his pen.
Have you heard of yes and, but no but?
Get ready for yes and oh actually no.
Now fuck your shit.
No. I said my calligrapher supplies, not his
Okay.
fancy quill.
Okay. All right. I'll accept it. I'll accept it. You write down gibberish.
Hands off the chess piece. That is what I said.
Yeah, I know. That is what you said. That was a misunderstanding on my part because I gave you an inkwell and a tool. I presumed that you'd be using it with the parchment. That's my bad.
The ink was to throw at them, not to write with, but I had my own ink to write with.
You know, it's beyond me to guess what the hell you're gonna do with the tools I give you, alright? I just played
the
by
whole
ear.
reason why I have calligrapher's tools is because I accidentally chose calligraphy instead of carpentry when I made this character.
There's a lot to unpack here. But let's go step by step here. You begin to write, Mahvet. You write in gibberish. Why must we fight? With your calligraphy tools, what do you do with that message?
I hold it up and begin to slowly walk towards them.
You hear the bows begin to creak as you step closer, holding up paper.
Mahvet will turn around and walk backwards towards them.
Okay. They shout at you.
Okay, this isn't going. If I can't understand them, this is going to be an issue.
Yeah, no shit. I
I'm
know.
trying to
Sorry,
find the right
that
ability.
yeah. I'm sorry. That was a little too emphatic. It's just I love the situation you found yourself in and how you're proceeding. It's good. Some good stuff. What do you do?
I'm trying to find the right thing. It's like my arms of astral self, but it's the other part of it.
Are you looking for the thing that gives you advantage on intimidation checks?
No, that lets me yell and you can hear me from like 6 miles away.
Thaumaturgy?
No, it's part of
Well,
the
not
arms
6
of
miles
astral.
away, but that would be one of your that would probably be your level 6 feature if you have it. Because that's like the mask of the astral self, or however it's
Yes, that's
called.
Okay.
visage. There it is.
Okay. All right. You're using visage of astral self. Okay, so you activate your scary ass arms, and then on top of that, you spend a key point to get these features.
And it's only 600 feet, but I'm hoping echoing will help. Especially since I cleared up the storm, not to have all that snow insulating the volume.
Okay.
Mahvet will yell, Eddie!
Oh god.
Seer!
Okay.
Hallelujah!
Okay.
I believe we have some friends here. Come!
Okay.
And then I will sit. In my arms of astral self will go into a prayer stance.
Okay. I guess there's no check involved. They're going to begin here. I'm at least going to give one last volley here. As another volley of arrows come, I need a dexterity saving throw with disadvantage if you're sitting down in place.
I don't know if this is a particular bit of an example of particularism, but technically prone doesn't give disadvantage on dex saves.
Yeah, I understand that. It's more, I'm leaning more towards not the condition, but the simple act of being a sitting target against arrows here. I do understand.
Wouldn't it? Could it be at advantage because he's well? No, he is a giant.
No, the
I was gonna say
giant's
smaller
also
target.
taking disadvantage because he's not aware that another volley is coming here. Well, I might even just do straight, just be a little nicer. He didn't expect the first one. Second one, he might just be waiting for. It's going to be half damage again, and we'll handle anything else that happens. Second here. That'll be 20 damage too. As another volley of arrows sail through the sky and land onto him. Our dear friend Bjorn is going to make a straight roll. Takes that full 40, and you see a arrow jutting from his neck as he is beginning to bleed out. And blood is spilling onto the game board, and Meditorian is just watching with the teacup, drinking as blood is splattering on his teacup, onto his pipe, onto the game board, and again, perhaps as he takes a smoke, we see the reflection in his shades, a similar vision of the giant having an arrow impale through the neck and causing crimson to splatter right in front of his eyes. And we see that red glow emitting through his eyes again. And he seems nonplussed. Do you sit while your giant companion is dying?
Bjorn, it seems the ghosts are real, as you're choking on your own blood. You might want to run if you can't see them. Save your breath. Go.
He is unconscious, head laid onto the board, and we'll talk about his fate in a little bit here.
No, I need to be able to eat him.
I need to be able to eat him.
I wonder what part he's going to go for first.
Yeah.
Oh god damn it.
Birds begin to fly from the forest. And Mega, Luia, Gumo, you hear that declaration echoing in the distance. What do you all do?
Well, the dragon's not an issue, and this guy seems like he's not about to kill anyone. Unfortunately, kind of, for Gumo. So it sounds like it might be time to go check out whatever the hell's going on over there.
Mahvet is how many feet away?
More than I should allow with this, but a fair amount.
I made a strong case for clearing up the storm and echoes.
Yeah,
So
that's what
what?
I'm saying is the echoes. I'm just saying it is not close by, but it's it's far. It's
Well,
very
if
far
we
in
can
Spain.
hear him, he has to be within 600 feet.
Okay, well, technically,
I just went to look up the ability, and he can shout out to 600 feet.
I can get us to 500 feet. Well, two of us.
I can get us the rest of that distance with maybe a
Again,
thunderstep.
halt. Just stop for a second. If that's the case, then you guys don't automatically hear. I need everybody to make me a perception check then.
Doing a lot of these today for something that I did not take expertise in.
Yeah.
You said
That was a curious decision on your part, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Hero point knowledge from past life on that.
Okay.
So that's gonna be 3 plus 9, that's 12, plus another d6. I got a 13.
Okay. It is Aluya and Eddie that hear it. Gumo, this is beyond your hearing because it is so faint. Eddie, Aluya. Well, I should start off with Aluya. Aluya, you don't even hear the last echo. You just hear maybe the tone of Mahvet's voice for a split second. Perhaps it's your imagination. Eddie, you literally hear your name on the wind. Not in your mind. On the...
It's like Eddie hearing this gives a sigh before saying, he walks around very confidently for someone who can't die again.
Inspiration. That's a really good fucking line. That's a really good fucking line. I like that. Okay.
And judging by what he heard, does he have an idea of how far away he is?
You would hazard a guess if you started sprinting, started running, not using any resources. It'd probably take between 5 to 10 minutes to get to wherever he was. But if you use up resources, you could probably cut that time in half.
Looks over to Aluya and Gumo.
He's staring blankly at you.
I need to get over somewhere very far, very quickly.
We're trying to get to Mahvet, yes?
Yes.
All right, well, here we go! And she'll
Mario?
just...
Mario? How'd you
And
get
then
to my D&D game,
Parthenax
Mario?
lands down and talks to the Dovahkiin.
And so then,
There's a third dragon!
I'll touch him on his shoulder or the top of his suit so I don't make contact with him. And just as soon as I do that, a door opens up and then just kind of sucks us in and closes behind us. And we will dimension door as close as we can to Mahvet, which is 500 feet.
Okay, then I need to ask the question, Luya.
Okay.
I believe Dimension Door just says you need to be near somebody. You don't need to touch them. You can just choose 2 people.
Myself and someone else.
Okay. But just doesn't involve touch, if that's the case.
He's emphasizing you don't have to touch me.
Yeah, that's the point. I'm
Oh.
okay with the flavor. I just want to make sure you do not need to touch them so we don't have to go through the rigmarole.
Yes, okay. You're right. Then the door will just suck us in and close behind.
Yeah. No, you can still have that flavor. I'm fine with it. Because I'm not going to be an
I
asshole.
mean, I kind of wanted the flavor, but because I wasn't making direct contact. That's why the top.
Yeah,
of the
there's
soup,
that static electricity of like, like trying to almost pat him on the back, but there's those arcs going from his suit to your hand. All right.
Eddie knows I mean no harm.
Okay. Reasonably, again, leaving Gumo behind here, you guys
What?
could
What?
clear the distance really fast. In a very short amount of time. I'm going to say within a minute. I'm going to be very generous here, fuck it. Just a minute. You can clear the distance, make the run, and get to him. So if I had to hazard a guess, again, normal creatures, normal speeds, nothing crazy. Like I believe in 10 rounds you can go 600 feet while sprinting. I believe off the top of my head, not considering any strange movements. For this, I might actually reduce it. I'm going to say 8 rounds, so less than a minute. You just need to move 500 feet. And you're there.
Aaliyah, not to be rude, as I'm now close enough and seeing that there is, in fact, a very large crowd of trees, which we'll figure that out. So would you mind hasting me and then you just catch up?
Absolutely, not a problem.
Okay. Here's what I'll say.
And she'll do that.
I'm going to make this interesting. I'm going to say, we're not going to go through the math here, Eddie. I'm going to be very simple with this. I'm going to say it takes 3 rounds. That you're hasted, you can sprint, you're very fast. 3 rounds, not doing the math. We're going to keep things a little exciting here. The only thing I'm truly interested in is the death saves. Because I will give this giant, because you guys have made an impact and talked to them, I will give them 3 death saves. Going to roll them all right in front of you. We're going to see whether or not that this creature lives or dies without aid.
If he dies, bring me there to eat him.
Look, we just cannot let it go to waste. I'm going to roll
Somebody's
all
got to
3.
make use of that body.
I'm going to roll all 3 at the same time here.
Damn it.
Yep. For the audience, that's a 12. That's a 10. That's a 12. He begins to bleed out, and something is staunching the wound. Something is blocking. Perhaps like the arrow went in just a way where he can still somewhat breathe without drowning. He can still live without bleeding out. All right. Eddie, we'll say it gets to the 3rd round. And I'm going to have one more.
Again, just skiing through the air.
Yeah. And instead of having multiple volleys, there's going to be one last volley. Well, you know what? Again, your resources are being expended here. Give me a... I want something to emphasize your voice, to tell the centaurs to stop. Some kind of warning, something big. How about a... I'm not even going to say persuasion. It's intimidation. Straight roll as you are approaching, and you hear the sounds of the strings being pulled back. Give me intimidation, that your voice is carrying enough authority where they stop for a moment.
Okey-dokey. Where are we? Come on. There's that.
Okay. 20 was the DC. 24 is sufficient. They do not launch another volley. Give me the flavor. What was the sound like? How do you make them stop? How do you enter the scene here?
It's you know what? It might as well be, with considering the method and speed of what he's doing. I want you to imagine kind of like Eddie, like as he's like flying through the air on his smoke trail, like coming around onto the scene, just like it's like and he's like zooms down. It's like leaving a small crater in the snow as he slams down, and there's just like this huge smoke. I hesitate to call it a bomb, but more like just like, but you know,
A
kind of like
Yamcha-size hole.
yeah,
A Yamcha-size crater.
and then like, you know, like a bunch of like his natural smoke going off of that. It's like it's like then standing up, turning around, it's like with a huge glare.
And
suddenly people
Shibuike-
remember
yeah.
how much they just like and suddenly people remember how much he danced over one of their leaders.
Yeah, Shibuike holds up a hand, seeing you. It is forbidden land you walk. Why are you here, Otter? And again, we're finally starting to hear common. Mahvet, you hear this.
I don't mean to intrude. It's like oh, I guess this is pretty close. I was literally called.
Yes, and I did not expect you to show up in 30 seconds? Looking around. Did you follow us?
No, I had to handle something in the village about 30-ish seconds ago.
That is quite fast. Give me a persuasion check with advantage on this. Just curious how incredulous this man is.
I like to think that when Aaliyah hates people, there's like this swirl of wind around them. It's constantly moving.
Love it. Just smoke, wind.
just really
a flurry
really
of smoke.
amplifying it.
Gives a smile. I believe it. You are faster than any tribesman I have seen. Who knew otters were faster than horses? And he gives a small chuckle at that.
So what exactly is going on here?
And you
Looking
see,
over.
yeah, you see the blood dripping first off of the stone table. Then you see the empty eyes of Bjorn looking outward. And Shibuike answers. A giant has come and invaded our most sacred lands. Along with this, looking towards Mahvet, this monster. It is strange. We are usually very good with warding off the giants, redirecting them. This one snuck in. Spells a bad omen. Without a medicine check, it appears that this giant is dead.
Eddie will look to him and say, I suppose first I must apologize for my subordinate's behavior.
The elf? And again, Notice Mediterranean just giving a small wave, watching everything play down, drinking a little bit of tea. Hello there, my friend.
No. Directs his finger toward the tree man.
Narrows his eyes. You are friends with that? Doesn't even know what to call it. Has never seen a thing like it before.
He is very unique, but he does draw power from the same source I do.
Now, I want to imagine this is a pause. This is a moment in the situation where we have a pregnant silence as he's staring at you, looking at them, and then speaking again in a foreign tongue with his allies. The conflict has stopped. A moment. I'm really curious about something. Aluya, you are running up near the tail end of this as they're speaking. I'm really curious how Gumo's doing alone in the village by himself, because we still have one more unresolved thing there that got left alone.
Not alone. He has Seer, okay? What
I have
better
my
could he
designated
ask for?
babysitter of Seer.
Sears crossing her arms, nodding along.
By the way, I hope you
Makes sense.
realize that possibly Thunderstep might need to be traded out on a
Yeah,
nearby
I
level.
know. Yeah, I know.
So good.
I need a support spell anyway. I need more support spells in general.
All right. So,
Or anything that isn't explosive.
Gumo, as you begin to worry about your own safety from the dragons, from the centaurs, again, being left alone in, air quotes, enemy territory, you see Kamlu looking past you. And perhaps you think, what, did I break my arm again? Looking at your body. Nope, no injuries. Is there another dragon? Cursory glance, not investigating. Yeah, you still only see blue and red. What's he looking at? And then you see it. You see that very same centaur that Aluya saw near the beginning of the session. Walking stick in hand. Walking past you, Gomo. Walking past Kamlu, not saying a word. Then going to the elf with foot and thigh. And you see the centaur, the oldest centaur you've ever seen, kneel down on its front legs, and then grabbing from a pouch a mortar, and within there is these colorful paints, and dipping 2 fingers in makes a mark on Nereus's forehead. Very strange mark. You've never seen a thing like it before, Gumo. It's almost like a tribalistic pattern or tattoo. And you hear a collective murmur and gasp as the centaur gives a nod and says, "You are free, enemy of our world." Stands up, looking towards the glowing beacon. Everyone is noticing this now. The glowing beacon. He says with complete authority to this tribe, "Come. The dragons have come to see the changing of an era. We too shall bear witness." And he slowly hobbles forward. And like a herd, unspoken, people are following. And Kamlu is shell-shocked. His chin is quivering, his eyes are looking out nowhere, back still towards this elderly man with jutting bones. Is there any question or statement that you make, Gumo.
What? 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 I have never been so dumbfounded all my life. Kamlu. What? Gonna like break my fingers in front of his face instead of snapping to like get his attention.
Oh god, that's fucked up. You know, that's a good way of getting people's attention. You snap him out of it. And he says to you, "That was the right of the bird. Ceremony is meant as a highest honor for our warriors. Freedom to come and go as we please in our village. And that man," and again he stops, "that is my father, the chieftain. He hasn't gotten out of bed for a year." And again, shock is over his face as he begins to slowly turn his head, and a tear rolls down his cheek as he says, "I think this is his last walk." And leading the herd, you see the man going into the forest, and Kamlu lags behind.
I guess I'm gonna grab the general guy and follow.
You do so. Things begin to line up, Eddie. You, after, again, pregnant silence pauses, the standoff. You hear a rustling deep within the forest. Hundreds of feet approaching you. And I assume...
really crowded.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I assume, do you check on the giant at all during this pause?
He would like to check on the giant, yes.
Okay.
Is the friend they made dead?
Yes. So, no need for a medicine check. You can see shallow breathing. You just don't have the time to see how emergent it is. You just know that they will not, as serious as the wound is, they will not die during this conversation. But as you ascertain, like, their well-being, you see Chibuike, along with the other hunters, approaching you.
"Our sacred land is tarnished
Because of your... And he's trying to remember the word you used.
subordinate."
Shakes his head.
"It is one of the most dishonorable things that you can do. It is treated quite heavily."
And you see him pulling out another hunter's blade. He's unfamiliar with this weapon. He prefers them all. See him holding a sheathed blade.
"Do I need to tell you what needs to happen?"
I have my suspicions.
I can't remember. Did we do introductions before your duel? Or did we just hit the ground running?
Introductions for whom?
Both sides, like Chibuike and yourself, Eddie.
Eddie at least title dropped himself.
Yeah, the Hayes family.
Yeah.
Okay, did not.
Okay. Well, we'll say introductions were at least done, even if we skimmed over it. I think it was more towards the preparation and moving towards the action where that got lost. But he will say to you,
Eddie Hayes, you are a strong warrior. You have defeated me in honorable combat. It is for this achievement that I will do you a favor as well.
And looking towards the group, he will tell them,
I will take responsibility for Eddie Hayes and his,
again, looking over towards the woodman,
subordinate.
he unsheathes the blade. And looking at you, Eddie, maintaining eye contact, he is about to plunge the sword within himself. Is there any actions, comments, or words that are said before I move on here? And just to reiterate, because the connections are jumping from one to another, or at least not just for your clarity, but for everyone's clarity, Mega, and the audience. To, like I mentioned with Mahvet, seeing the growing tension, the community is craving another chance at honor, to crave at a chance of redemption from their best warrior being bested in a duel. You feel like this is more of a selfish action more than anything else, Eddie, as you can see it behind his face that combat has destroyed him internally, and that this would cleanse his legacy, any tarnished effect that you have imposed onto him. He is using your situation to appear selfless.
So unfortunately, Eddie is really not in a position to, because like they're still just being introduced to cultural shifts.
Yep, exactly.
It's like, and so Eddie's not really in a position to tell them otherwise or consider other alternatives. So he will respect his wishes and let him do what he feels is needed for his people.
Okay. Then I guess I'll just ask one question then. Mahvet, we got a question for you, bud.
That's me.
You said fuck the quill. What happened to that quill?
I never intended to take it from him.
Okay.
I just took the ink.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I had that head canon here. As if you did not give it, then Mediterranean, just drinking a little bit of tea, again, the feather underneath will just waft in the wind then. It goes in the wind, curls around, and coincidentally enough, lands on the man's nose and tickles him. Tickles his nose, and you see it wrinkle. Sneezes. As he sneezes, we look in the distance, and we are starting to see the herd come through the forest, begin to emerge. And the first one you see is this older chieftain individual. Recusant, are you still on the ground prostrating? I don't exactly know how you're sitting on the ground.
Oh, no, so I am sitting crisscross applesauce and my
Okay,
arms
put
of
him die.
astral self are in prayer stance. But I would like, can I make a check on that feather?
Sure. Right ahead.
I would like to check if it moved naturally or does it seem like it was
Arcana
guided
check.
by Arcana? Okay.
I want to make it very clear, if you didn't say that you had it on your person, this person would be dead.
Wait, if I didn't, he would be dead?
Yes, because it'd be on your person.
Well, I didn't, so he is dead.
If he
Exactly.
gave you the set, then it was on your person, even if you didn't use it.
Yeah.
I'll roll inspiration.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I got better.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It just seems like a coincidence, like a sudden gust of wind. Although, really weird. Like the wind really hasn't been blowing too much besides Eddie and his tiny aurora. But we'll say that the chieftain arrives. And as the chieftain arrives, there is again a hush. The man Chibuike is fully intending to sail the sword into his stomach. And the chieftain says in response, "We do not spill blood on these sacred grounds." And again, his eyes narrowing towards the giant, whose blood is all over the tablet in the ground. The man begins to shake his head. "It spells an ill omen. Put away your blade. Now!" And sheaths it. And he tries to defend himself, to speak up, and a hand is held up. Looking at your party, the chieftain begins to walk and motions you without words. Come along. Unless there are strange protests like a weird decision from Mahvet or something else. You all approach the obelisk. You all look at the hieroglyphs, and the language becomes clear as you read the second era. And the era is titled The Reign of the Dragon Kings. And we're going to end the session right here, right now. Thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Okay, I'm sorry. So after the chieftain tells Chibuke to put the sword away, what do they do?
We go to the obelisk, and you read the title of the second era, Reign of the Dragon Kings. All of you, the entire party.
This has been House Common Blood. The intro and outro music is Oh My Dog by Savick, and any other music and sound effects used in the episode are royalty free. Credits can be found in the episode description. Please review us on whatever podcast listening app you happen to be using. And if you like us, tell other people. Word of mouth is the best way for us to grow. Thank you for joining us. Hope to see you soon.